Hello everyone, I am Gokul Bajaj, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Brijlal Biyani Science College, Amravati. Today, I am going to deliver a lecture on gene source, that is genomic library and cDNA library. So, gene source. Gene source is a reservoir or a container of a gene from where we can easily obtain our gene of interest. There are general two sources of genetic information, that is genomic DNA and the mRNA. So to avoid these sources, DNA libraries are created. There are two types of DNA libraries. One is genomic library and another is the cDNA library. Genomic library represents the entire genome of an organism, while cDNA library represents only expressed gene of an organism. Genomic library is made from an genomic DNA, while cDNA library is made from a copy of mRNA. Genomic library. It is the collection of DNA fragments from a single organism which represents the gene library, or also called as a genomic library represents a complete genome in multiple clones containing a small DNA fragment. Definition. A gene library is a collection of DNA fragments from an organism which has been cloned into the vector for ease of purification, storage and analysis. So here, each DNA fragment transformed into the bacterial cell can be considered as a book. So the collection of all the transformed bacterial cells can be called as the library. It is created using molecular cloning techniques. The genome size is expressed in the terms of number of base pairs, and the sizes of genomes in different species are variable. There is distinct difference in the genes of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. This has to be marked very important because both the libraries depends on the prokaryotic source and the eukaryotic source. In prokaryotes, the structural genes, that is coding genes, coding for proteins, are continuous. There is no extra sequences or there is no junk DNA. While in eukaryotes, the coding region, that is exons, are separated by non-coding regions, that is introns. So therefore, the construction of gene libraries for eukaryotes is more complicated. So a genomic library contains all the genes of an organism. It contains all DNA sequences such as expressed gene, non-expressed gene, exons, introns, promoter region, terminator region, and the intervening sequences. Steps of genomic library construction. So these are the steps of constructing the genomic library. First is isolation of genomic DNA. So to extract the DNA, we need to prepare the sample in the mortar and pestle. Then we will add the lysis buffer, that is sodium dodecyl sulfate, to break the cell wall. So all the cytoplasmic content will bring out. Then we will precipitate the protein, or we will remove the protein by adding the proteinase K. Then purification of DNA, we will add the phenol chloroform to precipitate DNA. We will add the sodium acetate. At the end, we will get the DNA. Then cleavage of genomic DNA. Cleavage means a breakdown of DNA. As there is a DNA fragment which is of huge size, which this has to be cleaved or fragmented in order to transform it inside the bacterial or the vector. It is carried out by the physical method or the enzymatic method. Physical method is the mechanical shearing of genomic DNA, and the instruments used are the narrow gauge syringe needle or the sonication that yields the random fragments of the DNA, and it requires large amount of DNA. So mostly we go for the enzymatic method. It uses the restriction enzyme, that is restriction endonuclease and the exonuclease, for the fragmentation of DNA. Restriction enzyme cuts at a particular site called as the restriction site, and the fragments of desired size are recovered by agarose gel electrophoresis. So the restriction enzymes are selected on the basis of types of end required, that is sticky end or blunt end. So sticky end have the overhang, that is complementary overhang, which makes the ligation easier, while blunt end do not have the what we can call the overhang or the complementary region. So that blunt end have the uniform edges at the end. So they are very critical to get ligated. So we need to add the adapters for the linkers for the ligation of the blunt end. Then the agarose, the fragments of desired size can be recovered by either agarose gel electrophoresis or the sucrose gradient centrifugation. Ligation of fragmented DNA with the vector. Various vectors are available for cloning of the DNA, such as plasmid, lambda-phage, yeast artificial chromosome, bacteria artificial chromosome, cosmate. So what we do, we cut we have already fragmented the plasmid as well as the genome. So T4 DNA ligase is used for the ligation of the selected DNA sequences. At the end, what we are going to get? Now the resulting molecule is the recombinant DNA. So we have formed the recombinant DNA. Now the transformation of rDNA inside the bacterial cell. A vector of suitable, like a vector containing a recombinant DNA is cloned inside the host. A suitable host can be a bacterial strain or yeast. Host cells are made to take up the rDNA. So now these cells which have taken the rDNA are now grown on the culture media. Now this cell will divide on the media to form colonies. As this cell will divide, they replicate their genome along with the rDNA contained with them. So in order to form their own genome, they will amplify the rDNA, and that produces the clones of our rDNA. And these bacterial colonies represent the genomic library. Advantages of the genomic library: entire genome is conserved. It is ready availability of genes. It provides the multiplication of gene. Then it is a source for the gene. It is a source of gene. It is useful for prokaryote organism having relatively small genomes. Disadvantages: the most of the genome in the DNA is not in action. That is around 95% of the genome at a time is junk DNA. Then genome libraries for the eukaryotes having large genome size makes it less ideal. Genomic libraries from a eukaryotic organism will not work if the screening method requires the expression of gene. Why? Because in screening we require the expression of gene, but in eukaryote gene has to be what we say, that is post transcriptional modification should be there, but we are creating the gene library inside the bacterial cell which does not provide the post transcriptional modification. So definitely eukaryotic gene will not express inside the bacterial cell. The search of gene in huge amount of DNA in eukaryote is very difficult. For that we have the cDNA library. Now cDNA library, as the name suggests, that means it is a copy DNA library or the complementary DNA library. It is prepared from the mRNA specifically used for the eukaryotes. Definition: a cDNA library represents the mRNA population present at a particular stage in an organism into multiple clones containing a small DNA fragment. Now, why to create the cDNA library? As we have the genomic library, why we need to create the cDNA library? So the reason is, genomic libraries for eukaryotes having very large genomes are very complicated. So we can see that the DNA structure, that the eukaryotic gene have the all gene sequences like expressed gene, non-expressed gene, exon, intron, intervening DNA sequences, promoter region, terminator region. So that in eukaryotic cell, as the gene is transcribed, the mRNA undergoes several changes called as the mRNA splicing to release a matured and functional mRNA into the cytoplasm. In this way, the introns are removed. We can see that it is the process of exon splicing and the intron removal. Finally, after this, it is called as the HNRNA, that is heteronuclear RNA having the exon and intron. But at the end, you can see that the mRNA is having the coding sequences, that is only exon. So the mRNA now only contains the coding or the functional sequence of gene. Hence, the functional mRNA is used for making the cDNA library. So what we are doing in cDNA library, we are removing the non-functional DNA, we are removing the all intron sequences, and only we are having the sequences which are coding for the protein, that is exon region. So we are simply making a cDNA from the mRNA. So reverse transcription is a mechanism where genetic information contained in mRNA is converted into a double-stranded DNA form. Here we can see this. Now mRNA is converted into the double-stranded complementary DNA. So the enzyme responsible for this is a RNA-dependent DNA polymerase called as reverse transcriptase, which is a retroviral enzyme found in only retroviruses. So structure of matured mRNA. It is very important to study the structure of mRNA in order to read or in order to study the cDNA library. A matured mRNA has 5 prime cap, it has 5 prime UTR, it has coding sequence, 3 prime UTR, and a polymerase and a poly A tail. Very important feature is the poly A tail. We are going to explore this poly A tail in the future processes. So steps of cDNA library construction. These are the steps in which isolation of mRNA. Adenine forms the hydrogen bonding with thymine. We know that it is a complementary base pairing of the DNA or RNA. So exploiting this feature, mRNA population can be isolated from DNA pool using a poly T affinity column. So total RNA is released from the cell with the help of cell lysis buffer. So mixing of this poly T bits with the total RNA isolated from cell. So as the or mRNA have the poly A tail, they will bind with the poly T bit, so that forms the mRNA bonds with the T bits. Now we will wash the bits with the washing buffer to remove the all non-specific molecules or the excess molecules. And finally we will elute the mRNA from bits and will purify that mRNA on the polyacrylamide gel. So we have mRNA now. Now we have to prepare the cDNA fragment. So here we will prime the mRNA with the oligo DT. What is oligo DT? That is oligo primer. That is now this that oligo DT primer serves 3' OH for the reverse transcription, like reverse transcriptase, which forms a double-stranded RNA-DNA hybrid. So we have now the RNA-DNA hybrid which do not have the stable conformation. So we need to degrade the mRNA. We will degrade that mRNA by the mild alkali treatment. So now we are having this single-stranded DNA which is complementary. So now we will incubate this single-stranded DNA with the DNA polymerase. So at the end we will get the double-stranded cDNA which is ready for the insertion into the vector. Now cloning of that double-stranded cDNA inside the suitable vector system. So there are various vectors available for the cDNA: plasmid, lamella phage, yeast artificial chromosome, bacterial artificial chromosome, cosmid, phagemid. So we will use the T4 DNA ligase for the ligation, and at the end again we are going to get the recombinant DNA which is containing the cDNA. Now the transformation into the host cell, which is very important step. So vector containing the recombinant DNA are now cloned into the host. A suitable host can be a bacterial strain or yeast, but mostly bacterial strains are used in case of the cDNA library, as the size of the cDNA library is very small. Host cells are made up to take the rDNA. Now these host cells are allowed to grow on the culture media, and the colonies or the microbial colonies of that bacteria or the yeast are now referred as the cDNA library. Applications of cDNA library: that is, only desired genes are preserved. They are smaller than the genomic DNA library. Intron length genes, like gene structure, they do not have introns. There is no junk DNA in a library. As RNA are small size, it can be placed in the plasmid vector, and in this process expression vector as well as the cloning vectors can be used. Disadvantages: they are like the libraries are the heterogeneous. The time of gene expression will decide the presence of that mRNA inside the cell at that particular time. All genes are never in action at any time in the cell. Processed RNA is used, hence there is no similar sequences in DNA that may result into the instability of protein. Then RNAs are having the very less short time or short lifespan. And again, the cDNAs are the blunt-ended, hence they require the linker or adapter DNA for molecules for the ligation. This is it for this topic. Thank you.